Yep, this is the Oh Yeah podcast.
You heard it here first.
All right, Phil. It's good to see you today, actually.
It's good to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good to see me.
Yeah, definitely.
What'd you have for lunch?
I had, unfortunately, some McDonald's.
Oh, that's not unfortunate. I think McDonald's is an amazing place.
I like McDonald's for a little quick eat. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, McDonald's is good. I mean, it has a tendency to tear you up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So you brought me here today.
Yeah, this is a new thing for us because, we have our regular episodes that we do. You know, we've been in production, recording some episodes. We like to stay around 45 minutes to an hour plus, maybe a little bit.
Give or take.
Yeah, that's our goal. But this is kind of like a special recording that I would like to call a quickie.
Oh, I think we all enjoy a quickie in it from time to time.
Right. An Oh Yeah quickie.
Oh yeah.
So really, let's just jump right into it. I mean, basically, the reason why I wanted to record today, Phil, is because I'm a little freaked out.
How freaked out?
I'm a little freaked out. I am curious I want to have a conversation with you to determine if I should be scared or not to go see the Joker movie.
Okay.
Not because it's going to be scary or something like that, but because someone might shoot me while I'm in the theater.
I have seen some news articles popping up about this. Nothing like super serious yet. Yeah. But the talk is starting.
It is.
And it is a little bit terrifying.
It comes out like probably by the time the listeners are listening to this, it's probably out the next day or that day.
I mean, there was a movie in the past that was superhero themed that had some serious stuff go down with shootings and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So it's pretty scary. I mean, it's a real thing that could happen.
Well, I want to give you the ins and outs of what's going on.
All right, let's get into it.
And then I want to discuss a few things so we can determine whether maybe people should be scared or not.
Okay.
You know?
Let's do it.
Because people are probably thinking, should I even go to the movie or not? So I want to answer that question, and for myself at the very least.
Okay.
So essentially what's going on, Phil, is that there's this group of people, mentally unstable people, okay? They call themselves incels.
Incels, like INCELLS?
INCELS.
Is there a hyphen?
I don't think so.
Not important.
No.
Let's move on.
Yeah, incels, which stands for involuntarily celibate.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I mean, they're involuntarily celibate. So essentially, without making fun of them like a bully would, essentially what these people are, they're just like accidental virgins.
Huh.
So these are dudes that can't get chicks to sleep with them.
Or they're just too weird to have chicks sleep with them.
There's a ton of reasons why.
This is a little risque, NALO.
It is. I know. But here's the thing. It's good for us to talk about because, I mean, it's hard to dive into the head of some of, the mentally unstable people, but I want to figure this out. I want to know what's going on here because essentially what these people are doing is they've formed a group, an extremist group, which is now labeled an extremist group by the government.
Wow.
Like they're in the like list of terrorists.
That's a little bit terrifying.
Yeah, the incels are. So
okay.
These incels basically they hate women now.
No.
Because they will not have sex with them.
They just think that they just won't have sex with them because they are who they are?
I don't know. I guess not.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
In any case with a normal thinking person, they would probably just try to improve on themselves or figure out what's going on. Maybe I'm just weird, you know.
Or just maybe ask them what the root of the problem is. Like,
yeah, or they're going after the wrong chicks or they're not in their league or something. Maybe there could be a thousand other legitimate reasons, but their reason is that women have conspired against them specifically.
They like talk back and forth with each other, tell them, no, don't hang out with this guy because he's crazy and like you don't want to be associated with him, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff.
We're not going to do anything with him because of whatever reason they've come up with in their mind.
Okay.
So that in itself is not really that harmless. I mean, not that really harmful, right? So they're just, there's plenty of people groups that hate other people groups. And it's like, okay, maybe you should just get over it. But this group specifically has taken some action against women.
Physical?
Physical, yes. There have been several people that have been arrested now, some guys that have said on social media websites that they will kill any women that they come in contact with.
That's insane.
Yes. That's a red flag.
A very large red flag.
Yeah, if there's any red flag.
Like if you've ever seen one of them big American flags, it's a red flag that size.
I know, right?
That is crazy.
Of course, they've been reported to the police, and several arrests have been made, and it's just nuts what's going on with these groups, and essentially their prerogative right now, their motivation is that they're going to, as they have said on social media, that they're going to attack people during the release of the Joker movie.
And is this they're doing this because they can relate with the character, the main character of the show? Does the Joker have some sort of hate and discontent towards women in his life, or was he just an outcast? Are they just relating to the outcast portion of him?
Well, needless to say, the Joker is a fictional character, but
correct, yeah.
But also very crazy. No normal person thinks the Joker isn't crazy, but these people are relating to the Joker in the way that they say that the Joker has been bullied his whole life and is forced to be happy. So that's how they're relating to this.
Okay,
like, they've been bullied by probably men and women and in their young age. I don't doubt that. I mean, that's probably something that really truly happened to them, but they feel like the bullying has extended to women in their life. The women, I don't know if it's like including moms and sisters or whatever, but it's specifically towards people that won't have sex with them. So it's that they're being bullied through this method of not being intimate and their lack of ability to start an intimate relationship.
I mean, if you're listening to this and this sounds like something you should be upset about, then I think you need to talk to a therapist of some sort, because
I agree.
That is insane to think about. About just classifying a gender of the human race as like terrible or like the most disgusting thing that you've ever heard of just because they won't have sex with you.
I know. It's crazy. And I don't feel bad saying that, because it really is. I mean, some people might think, we should be nice to them, or, and I agree with that. But in the same way, we should call a spade a spade. Like, yes. That's crazy. Okay.
Absolutely. You
are crazy if you think women are focusing on you and bullying you because they will not have sex with you.
Yeah. They definitely need to seek some mental health therapy or help in some way. But definitely, we need to call a spade. It is pretty crazy.
Yes. So it's led to them basically idolizing the Joker.
Okay. And
since there is a Joker movie coming out, which I am excited to see, I feel like already the reviews on it are great, and it's going to be a well-made movie. And Joaquin Phoenix always does an amazing job. He like lives in the character, so I'm excited to see how he does with the Joker movie. But at the same time, we're being warned by local news stations, newspapers, national news, governments, police to be aware and maybe not go see it. I know they can't really say don't go see this movie, but really they're like, for your own safety, you might want to be prepared when you do.
So you think that maybe some of these incels are going to maybe have some sort of attacks on movie theaters or something like that?
Yeah, there has been literal threats.
Do you think that's the only type of person that's going to possibly make an attack on a movie like this? I mean, previously, it was just the previous shooting that did happen in Colorado, I believe.
Yes, Aurora, Colorado, yes.
Yeah, he claimed to be the Joker is why he attacked the movie theater. He didn't. Otherwise, I didn't do enough research into it. But
yeah,
do you think do you think that's the only group of people that may have an attack on this movie, or do you think there's other people out there that just think, let's create some hate and discontent? And
yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just an open invitation for other also crazy people to take advantage of the situation. So, like, the more we blow it out of proportion and the more we talk about it, which is ironic for what we're doing, I feel like the more importance it gives on it, which fuels the fire, actually.
Yeah, the more press that is released, the more people are talking about it, the more people are scared of it.
Yeah.
Makes it more of a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing to think about, especially with the amount of news that comes out that's either false or wrong, or that could be true, but you never know.
For sure.
And maybe they're going to make it true because they're talking about it so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a few things I want to share on it too, because
let's hear some of the material that you've gathered from just the past couple days of
one specific
news
thing
or anything
I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you where I got it.
Okay.
Because I got it from the interwebs, but I'm not going to tell you how or who it came from.
Okay.
whatever.
That's mysterious, but I love it.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how.
What the repercussions could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay.
Let's
but
move on.
It is specifically a government message to somebody.
Okay.
Okay. So this is, I don't know if you know what, I'm just going to say it like this. This is intended for a government employee.
Okay. So it's like a bulletin or like a
hey, just be aware.
Okay.
From the government to a government employee. Found this on the interwebs.
Makes sense.
The names are scratched off and everything. So it says this. Team, posts on social media have made reference to involuntarily celibate incel extremists replicating the 2012 theater shooting in Aurora, Colorado at screenings of the Joker movie at nationwide theaters. Remember, this is from the government. This presents a potential risk to blank blank and family members, though there are no known specific credible threats to the opening of the Joker on 4 October. Incels are individuals who express frustration from perceived disadvantages to starting intimate relationships. Incel extremists idolize violent individuals like the Aurora movie theater shooter. They also idolize the Joker character, the violent clown from the Batman series, admiring his depiction as a man who must pretend to be happy but eventually fights back against his bullies. When entering theaters, here's the advice the government is giving to their employees.
So the previous two paragraphs was basically saying, this is the pretense to this message.
Yeah, this is why we're sending it to you.
And then now you're going to give us the advice.
Yes. When entering theaters, identify 2 escape routes, remain aware of your surroundings, and remember the phrase, run, hide, fight. Run if you can. If you're stuck, hide. Also referred to as sheltering in place. And stay quiet. If a shooter finds you, fight with whatever you can. And then the little asterisks at the bottom say this is a condensed version of an HQ Army Material Command G3 Protection Division security message.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
So, as you can tell, there's obviously a lot of government involvement already in this, and even they're worried that something could happen. So do you think the general public should be worried?
I don't know.
Do you think the government should tell the general public to be worried?
I think that they were kind of probably hoping that some of this information would get out, and I think it has. Since I found this, I've seen several other news websites or Facebook, posts and screenshots of messages just like this.
Similar?
Yeah, so I'm not as worried about reading it as I was before, but
okay.
At the same time, I think they were just expecting people to leak it, and then people would warn themselves.
There's also something to be said about taking precautions. I mean, even in the work that I do, we do so much safety training just in case. And shelter in place is one of the things that is said all the time, and it's not for shootings or anything like that. It's just for runaway events that can happen in refineries, all that kind of stuff. You shelter in place and just make sure that you don't
wait
go anywhere.
Wait for somebody to tell you, hey, it's safe to go this direction.
So there's something to be said about preparing yourself for potential hazards like this, and the government's just doing its due diligence, I think, in my mind. I would probably still go to the movie. I saw the trailer for it before the movie It that I went to a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I really want to see that. Dang, that looks really cool. Because, I like superhero movies, and I like the Batman movies and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a junkie and I don't like need to go see it. I don't really like follow the storylines very well. I couldn't tell you what happened in The Dark Knight, but it just seems like a really well done movie, and an actor that can portray a character so unique like the Joker is going to be very interesting to watch, and that's something that I'm going to watch it for.
For sure. So it's not something that I'm easily going to skip out on, because I do want to go do it. So I think that I feel pretty safe, to be honest. I feel like, I don't want to be the guy that says it's probably not going to happen. But at the same time, I think nationwide, like, there is a risk of something happening somewhere.
Always. It's not even on special events like this. It could happen any day.
Should I be more worried about going to the movie than, someone coming in my workplace and shooting, or getting in a horrible car accident on the way to work? Like, I don't think so, honestly. Like, whatever happens. I can be prepared. Of course, things like this where, I identify 2 exits, learn to, hide in place and fight back with whatever you get. That's just good advice. Of course, I'm glad that I learned that, and I'm glad I'm made more aware of it in this situation. I'm not going to alter my life to in fear of things like this. So really, I think the general consensus from me is that I don't think anybody should be any more alerted or worried than normal, and should just carry on with their lives.
And this is throughout America, you're saying?
Yes, I think so. And maybe in bigger cities, it could be a little bit more of a heightened security, but at the same time, so are the police, so are the security at these places, and they're going to be watching and making sure. And they've already banned like Joker costumes, because like when Star Wars comes out, people dress up like Star Wars characters and they go to the movies, and it's no different for any movies like this. In Hollywood, one of the biggest theaters there, of course, people dress up like Joker all the time, and they're going to go to this movie because they're fans of the Joker, right? So they've banned that, which is not fun, but it's safe. So
it is definitely more safe. So one thing that I'm a little bit curious about: what if you were living in Aurora, Colorado? What if that was the place you lived and you wanted to go to this movie? Would you still be afraid? Do you think that they would try to replicate it in the same place that it happened, 5 years ago or however long it was?
This summer, I drove actually right past the Aurora, Colorado theater because I wanted to see where it was. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, my family went to Denver, and the Aurora is an interesting town. It reminds me a lot of a place that is trying to grow their city, but it's an old town. Like,
it's kind of like Billings, I guess, if you could compare it to that, because Billings is growing quickly. And it is still an old town. I mean, most of the buildings downtown are the original buildings that were built there.
I easily think that Aurora was probably one of the first places that Denver was built from. A lot of old buildings, like just old businesses, and the newest places there are like hospitals and stuff. And I saying that to just say that I think that the people there are going to be aware of it, but it's not going to affect their daily life. Like, they're just going to go, and there's probably going to be people that are going to go in spite of, like, well, I'm going to go anyway.
This article that was released in the Billings Gazette, which is our local newspaper, is saying that they're not going to show the movie there.
Interesting.
They have put in the news saying we're too worried about the security concerns, and we are not going to show this movie at our theater due to what happened during the Dark Knight showing, however long ago that was. And so these people in Aurora, Colorado can't even go to this movie because something like that happened. So they're going to have to go somewhere else. Do you think that they're going to go? They would take the time to leave their hometown and go somewhere else to go see it? Because I guess I don't know the geographic area of Aurora. Is it close to Denver? Is it a suburb of Denver?
You could be in downtown Denver in 20 minutes.
Okay. So, I mean, really, you just go 10 minutes over the border of your town to the next town, which is basically, when I lived in California, it was the same thing with Los Angeles. Like, you're in Orange County, you're in Irvine, you can go up to Orange, you can go up to like all the other cities that are there that make up Los Angeles.
Inglewood, Compton.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised a little bit, but I guess I see their point in it, because, the people in their town can go see it somewhere else. So they're almost making a statement like, guess what? Never again.
Not going to happen on our turf.
Not going to happen again.
Yeah. I think I would be a little bit more scared or terrified if it had happened in the town that I lived in previously.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, the people, even the school shooting, stuff like that, they are way more aware of that kind of thing because they experienced it as a town like Vegas when they had the shooting there.
Yeah.
Everybody's Vegas strong. Like, you go down there now, there's not a single, like, there's no way that you could go down there for 5 days or 3 days or even 24 hours and not see a Vegas strong symbol, because people take that to heart.
Sure.
They don't ever want it to happen again. And now everybody is like on a heightened suspicion always in Vegas.
Built into the history of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think my views probably would change if I lived in Aurora. And I think we need to be open to that, because somebody could be listening to this that lives there and say, hey, man, like, you weren't there. You don't know how it feels to be in this town anymore.
So right.
I think there's some validity to people's suspicions that it could happen, and it's kind of a little bit scary. But if you feel like you still want to go to the movie, go to it.
Yeah.
And if things go down, now you have some advice from the government about how to avoid it, which is
it's
pretty
not
cool.
Just just something or a rumor going around Facebook. It's a legitimate thing, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this for a few minutes, because I want our listeners to be aware. I want to be able to kind of depolarize it a little bit and kind of analyze it and figure out, is it okay for us to go see the movie? Is it okay for us to be scared out of our minds? I want to know where the middle ground is and to understand it a little bit better.
I think another reason why we're a little bit less afraid of this kind of thing is because we do live in a state that is fairly less populated than most states, for the size at least.
True.
And our gun laws are fairly relaxed.
Yep.
So a lot of people own guns here, and people are scared. I think, in my opinion, somebody who wanted to commit this type of crime would be afraid to do so because they would get shot in return.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been videos of store holdups and stuff like that in Montana where a guy pulls out a gun and 3 other guys that are already in the store pull out a gun and point at him because they don't want him to rob the store.
Yeah.
So it's a self-defense thing here in Montana, and it's something to definitely think about when you're thinking about why people would be afraid in other parts of the country, because in California the gun laws are so strict it's kind of hard to get one.
Sure.
So you don't have a way to defend yourself. I mean, in movie theaters technically you're not allowed to bring guns into movie theaters anyways.
Right.
But it's still a different thought.
That's the whole point of having a concealed carry, though. Here's just a random thought. No, it's not a random thought. It is a thought that I hold. But if you have a concealed carry permit, I don't think you should be telling people anyway. It's a secret.
Oh, yeah, that you have a gun? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like if you're telling people, like, I'm a concealed, check out my gun, that's not concealed.
Yeah, you should be concealing it so that if there were a situation to arise, you could almost have the element of surprise as your plan. I mean, your way to defend yourself, because sometimes, if I were a gunman and I walked into a store and I saw 3 dudes with holstered pistols on their hip, I am not going to take my gun out, you know? So it could cause the situation because you technically aren't showing.
Sure.
But it would be an easy way to control the situation afterwards if you did have the element of surprise on somebody like that.
I think a concealed carry has a much bigger chance of controlling the situation than deferring the situation with an open carry.
And I guarantee there's people out there that are listening that are anti-gun or gun law, don't want stricter gun laws.
Sure.
And they're screaming. They're like, I can't believe these guys are okay with this kind of thing. Blah, blah.
I know. People, and I know I'm not an expert, not even nearly close to being an expert on this subject at all, and I have my own opinions, of course. I'm happy to be schooled on this subject for sure.
And I'm the same way as you. I do not have enough background information on gun laws and how strict they are, all that kind of stuff. All I know is that Montana is fairly relaxed.
Yeah.
There was a gun show 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
No background checks, no nothing. You can go in with cash, buy a gun.
Yeah.
As long as you're over a certain age, I believe. They do check your ID, but they don't register the gun to you, any of that kind of stuff. You can buy a gun just going in there with cash. And it's
so interesting.
Non-recordable.
I think that the only other state that has less laws than Montana is Arizona. My brother lives there. There's no gun laws. They don't even have a concealed carry law.
Do they have automatic weapon laws? There's got to be.
I think so.
I think
that's a
federal
national,
law.
federal law.
Okay.
But they don't have. You don't have to. You can keep a gun in your pants in your pocket.
That's
not
crazy.
illegal. Yeah.
But I mean, I've never felt unsafe in Arizona.
No,
I've been down there a bunch, and I don't
Exactly.
think there's ever been a time where I didn't feel safe.
And I was talking to my brother about this, and I said, are you going to go see the Joker movie? And he's like, yeah. Now that somebody said that they're going to shoot up a Joker movie, he's like, you know how many people are going to be in a theater with their own guns? He's like, it's going to be almost the opposite effect.
Yeah, but the other thing that's kind of scary about that is if you're trying to take a gun into a theater and there's security, you're most likely going to be like categorized as the shooter because you're not supposed to, at least in my opinion, I think there may be laws that you are not allowed to bring a weapon into a place like that.
I think it's by state and by business itself.
I guess
because like even here in Montana, there are businesses where you can open carry. There are businesses, it's a state law that you can open carry, but some businesses say no open carry in our business because it's a private place.
Yeah,
they can make their own rules.
Yeah, they can make their own rules, and I believe the police would have to enforce their rule because, I mean, in Montana, the law is that you can open carry in certain places.
Yeah. I think
there's
the
exceptions like
would be
there's
like
exceptions
they would
like
remove them from the property.
Right. Yeah,
that's it.
The exceptions are like schools and
banks, bars.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different places where you're not allowed to.
I think you can't even conceal. I think that the concealed carry law is you can't, even if you have a permit, you can't do it in a government building. You can't do it in a bank or a school or any place that serves alcohol. So including like Olive Garden.
Huh. Okay.
So I guarantee that there are concealed carry people even in some of those government buildings. Maybe not. Some of them have like metal detectors, but that's the whole point of being concealed, is that the intention of that is for protection only. You don't show it off. You don't pull it out, wave it around. You're not going in there to like, I need my gun today because I'm going in here. It's like, no, this is protection for me and my family and maybe the people around me. And I hope I never have to use it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it for sure. There are a lot of people from the places that I've lived in the last 2 years that would definitely disagree. I think I'm more on your side on that one. Sure. I enjoy shooting guns. I think it's fun. I don't own one personally. I'd like to have a handgun at home at least just to have in the house.
Sure.
Obviously, if I had a child, I would be locking it up in a safe, all that kind of good stuff. But
yeah,
I'm okay with it. There's a lot of people out there that would listen to this that would say, I don't know. I think we need to take a look at that. But
think about it like
I don't
this,
have enough
Phil.
experience with guns to say that maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong.
Sure.
But who knows? I don't want this episode to turn into a political debate or a gun debate or gun law debate. But we just wanted to, I think at least you just wanted to go over the fact that, there are these threats that are out there.
Yeah.
No, we don't think you should be scared about it. I think there are places in the country that people are going to be a little bit more afraid. Yes. And it's more of the high population areas because there's less police to deal with people like this. But here in Montana, I don't think there's any reason why anybody should be scared to go to a movie.
Yeah, the only reason why I might not go see the Joker movie is because I don't want to spend my money on it.
Oh my gosh, I spent $50 going to it 2 weeks ago.
Dude, I know. It will destroy your wallet going to the movies in general.
But yeah, I think we should definitely not get into a gun debate because we don't need to go there.
We can do that on a different episode.
Absolutely. But I think we're coming to the end of our time. Is there anything? Because normally a quickie in my mind is a little bit faster than that.
Yeah, I agree. So it was fun doing this quickie with you, Phil.
It was really fun doing this quickie with you, Nalo.
Anyway,
and I do mean that sexually.
I figured.
Oh my gosh! You can't see what we're doing under this table. Hit us up on our socials. This has been the Oh Yeah Podcast with Nalo and Phil.
Bye.
Bye.